Hello, everyone. My name is Jalen Motley. I am a program coordinator here for VitalLink. I want to thank all the students and parents and educators joining us today for the second Huntington Beach Union High School District CTE webinar. Since we do have a lot of information to get through, I do want to get started right away. So I do want to thank our great educator panelists. We do have a few more that are about to hop on. So no worries, we will have a growing panel. But I want to turn it over to Miss Marilyn to give you guys a little spiel about CTE, and then we will get started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming, and we're super excited about today. Really quick about CTE. What is CTE? So it's a study, it's a program of study that involves a multi-year sequence of courses that integrates academic knowledge with technical and occupational knowledge to provide you with a pathway to post-secondary education and careers. Now, we have several pathways, and I'm going to send out a link tree, and I know you have access as well to a portal with all of our different pathways that you can check out. But if you have questions, you can also email me. So in the, does everyone see the Q&A, Jalen?
Yes, everyone can see the Q&A.
Okay, so in the Q&A, I am going to send out our link tree. And also right now, I'm going to hand it over to Julia Budd to talk about cosine ROP.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julia Budd. Like Marilyn said, thank you for the introduction. And I work at Cosine ROP, which stands for Regional Occupational Program. And we offer CTE courses, career technical education courses. And as Marilyn said, CTE pathways are essentially an introductory class, a concentrator class, and then a capstone. So typically there's 3 different classes in that. And if somebody, one of the really important things as to why you want to be a CTE completer, it looks great on your college applications if you're going to a 4-year university. Also, if you're going into the workforce, it looks great on a resume. So it looks great for 2 different reasons. I'm also going to put in Cosine ROP's link tree as well. We are starting our fall registration next week. And you can, when I drop in our link tree address, you can get a information on our website and fill out the interest survey for classes for next fall. Thanks. And back to Jalen.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Before we get started, I want to remind you guys that if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the Q&A box. If you also want to put them in the chat, that's totally fine. But the Q&A box is for the question and answer. We can either get to those in the beginning, during the panel, or a little bit towards the end. All right, so we will get started with introductions. Let me start with Adam in my corner. How will you give us your name, title, and CTE education pathway that you teach?
Thank you much, Jalen. Hello, everyone. Thank you for visiting here. I'm Adam Drace. I teach auto shop here at Ocean View High School. And we have Auto 1, Auto 2, and soon to be Auto 3, Auto Internship at Ford of Huntington Beach.
Awesome, thank you so much. And Leah.
Hi, I'm Leah Bratcher. I teach at Marina High School, and I'm in charge of the fashion and the interior design pathway. And this year, I'm also taking over culinary arts. So I have 3 pathways.
Nice, thank you so much. And Maria.
Hi, my name is Maria Georgiocopolis. I'm at Huntington Beach High School, and I teach the culinary arts career path. So I have culinary arts 1. We have advanced culinary in our career path currently, hoping to add baking and pastry.
Awesome. And I know you just listed a few of the courses that are offered, but to tag on to my second question for you, Maria, how do these courses prepare students for success once they complete your class?
So our class for success for moving on, first of all, we have mirrored our kitchens to be industry standard completely. So they are learning in what they would be working in industry, along with our equipment also. So we do a really good job in making sure that they function on the same equipment and learn the same kinds of techniques. Once they move on, whether they go to OCC, like to a community college for a certificate, or if they want to move into actually working in restaurants, they would they take it a step further. I've had lots of students come back and say, so we learned these 3 versions and then we learned 6 more when we went on, which is amazing to me. But they also are going to learn a lot of just what it's like to cater, what's the feeling like when you have a deadline and a time crunch, and how to alter and make things work, just, you know, when ingredients run out, or you need to move ahead and your oven's not functioning and we have to work a different oven. So there's real situations that take place in real industry. I own a restaurant also, and so we really mirror each other, which is great.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, it's giving children a chance to get that real life experience in a classroom. Awesome. Adam, for you too. I know you listed a few of the courses that were offered. If you can repeat those and then explain how they prepare your students for success once they complete your class.
For sure. So we're partnered with Ford, and with that we have Ford modules. So with that, as students complete the online course, they get certificates. So as they collect certificates, they would technically then be able to go to a dealership and be able to say, hey, I got these certificates, I'm Ford trained. Obviously, they probably need a little more hands-on training, but at least they'll have the brain knowledge. But Auto 1 is a very basic course in the sense that we know we're an elective and we want to be fun and campy. So Auto 1 gives you all the super basics from the ground up. We start with the tires, how to take them on and off, identifying a vehicle, like where to find the gas cap, those sorts of things. We go to brakes, suspension, engine, electrical, air conditioning. So Auto 1's a big taste of everything in a positive way. Auto 2 is just a step further. That's where we have like the UCI performance engineering race. We build go-karts and we do more lab-based projects. We still do the Ford modules, but we add more Ford modules in the Auto 1 year. So one, they get maybe a third of the Ford modules, maybe a little less. They want to keep it fun and light for them. For those that think, okay, this might be a career, Auto 2 is going to have slightly more longer modules, but that's to help get the kids hopefully then ready for what's going to be Auto 3. We're still working on, which will be internship at the Ford dealership.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. You're free to carry on if you have more. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just in the sense that we just prepare the students for real life situations. And that's why we partnered with Ford to kind of give us more of that legitimacy of, well, what's your high school doing? Well, we're partnering with Ford to try to make sure that when people see the certificates and the program we come from, they're like, wow, you guys came from a real program. So,
right. Cool. And just for those who don't know, what are the modules? Can you just explain what that means for those who might not be aware?
Yeah, we start online modules when we have the online learning experience, which may or may not have been the best for everybody. But for creating online content, it worked perfect. For this is the same course you would take at the community college level. So it's really positive. But basically, it's an online course. So though it's not too bad, it's many languages. So if there's language issues, I wouldn't worry. They've got like a world of languages. So there's a world of vehicles out there. And the students are able to basically, it's like there's little videos, they watch like little captions. Basically, it's kind of that style.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's little tests.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. And Leah, I would like to hear from you about how your courses prepare the students for success.
Okay, and I'll kind of explain a little bit. For the fashion pathway, there's a fiber arts and design, which is about fibers and textiles and how they're made and created and natural and synthetic. And then they move on to fashion design. And I have had over the years, many students go work in the fashion industry in a couple different places. And I can't name one of them right now. And I'm thinking about 3 of the girls and where they've gone, but they've gone to different companies. One girl moved up to a company up in Seattle, and now she's in Colorado at another company. And that's literally just from taking my classes. And then she went on to college, obviously, to study a little bit more, but she always knew she wanted to end up in fashion. So I've always had guest speakers and videos on how to do different things, and they get a wide variety. They learn how to sew, they learn about draping, they learn how to draw croquis, they learn about a line, they learn about advertising for their business and creating a brand. And then they leave, of course, my classes with an online portfolio that kind of shows a compilation of all their work that they've done over the 2 years. And then with interior design, that one's really exciting right now. We just had a guest speaker today. That was super fun. She's an interior designer and she owns a company called Is Cte, and it's a program that kids can learn to draw with, because she says even today, even though CAD is important, SketchUp's important, all the technology is very important, you still need to know how to draw. You need to understand how to draw a floor plan and then turn that into an elevation and really bring that to life for a client. Both with fashion and interior design, they really prefer you to have some college before you go work out doing anything. They need an older student, number one, and most of those industries require something to be at least 18. But all the things that we learn about here, even just in high school for interior design and fashion, we get the basics of the elements and principles of design. Color, we learn all about that. And I've had many students as they go on to college say, oh my gosh, I already knew about Pantone, Miss Bratcher, because you taught us, Pantone and little things like that. So there's a lot of things that we do. Plus I have background in both fashion and interior design. So I kind of understand it a little bit better in terms of like, where will the kids go, different jobs, different industries, professional organizations, and so on and so forth. So we cover a really big gamut for high school. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that all sounds awesome and fun too.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And even with our culinary arts too, we've done a couple field trips this year, which was really fun. We just went down to the Hyatt in Newport Beach, and that was very exciting, super fun. Kids learned about all kinds of jobs. Their head chef gave us a tour.
I will second that. I got to attend that trip as well, and it was incredible. We learned all the behind the scenes, everything, and they even fed us. It was incredible. Such a fun trip.
Yes. Quick question that I noticed in the Q&A section for any of the panelists. Can middle schoolers take CTE classes?
Only if their middle school has some of those kinds of classes. In high school, all of our schools here in Huntington Beach have CTE courses. They vary per school. But I don't think our juniors highs don't have as much, I don't think.
Yeah, in middle schools that are feeding into our districts, a lot of them have classes. They might not be official career technical education classes, but they have some that are in the home ec area. They'll call it a foods class, for instance. They do have woodshop classes, but they don't necessarily have official career tech classes.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. And thank you, Leah, for your fashion spiel.
Yeah.
I see we have another panelist joined us, Greg. We will catch you up a little bit. How about you give us your name, title, and your CTE pathway?
Okay, my name is Greg Berger. I'm the department coordinator and teacher here at Westminster High School. I've got two different pathways, one that is engineering design and the other that is cabinetry, millwork, and woodworking.
Awesome. And how do the courses that you offer prepare students for success once they've left your class?
The vast majority of students that are in the engineering design pathway are typically preparing for engineering fields at the college level. It's not as common to find engineering technician jobs in Orange County that don't require some level of college education or training, though there are some apprentice jobs and there are some companies that in fact hire shop technicians that need engineering skills, let's say, that could potentially get work. We've lined up with a couple of different firms in the past where we've connected through NEPRIS, and we've actually connected through some of our advisory panels through having some good conversations with people where we can recommend certain students on and have not per se official internships so much as let's say short-term work or short-term experience type jobs. Okay. In the woodworking class, however, we've got quite a number of opportunities for students working locally as either finish carpenters or installers or actually for cabinet manufacturers. We recently had an opportunity to bring kids out to Reborn Cabinets and saw their manufacturing facility and their sales facility and did a full day tour there where we lined up students literally that were interested on the spot of trying to get jobs. So we do have work that is available directly out of the course for the cabinetry, millwork and woodworking pathway, but that is more or less something that prepares students for either working for a carpenters union or for construction type work where they need the finer skills that are required for finish installation.
Okay, great. Thank you. And while I'm still on you, do you guys have any certificates that students received after completing your class?
In the woodworking class right now, we don't. In the or woodworking pathway, I should say, either in the advanced principles or the Wood 3 classes. But in our engineering pathway, we offer a few different certifications, one of which is for computer-aided drafting and 3D modeling using SolidWorks. And the CSWA, or SolidWorks Certified Associate exam, is our first level, and that's something that typically in the first year of our pathway students are attempting. And then we've got the Certified SolidWorks Professional exams. There's actually 3 of them. And students get to focus on one of those 3 areas in their senior year or their second year, the capstone year, for that engineering pathway. We also work with SP2, which is a safety organization, and there are specific certifications that group offers. Some of them are actually industry aligned to specific manufacturers and manufacturing processes. Others are generic, more like an OSHA mimicked type of exam for students who work in a workshop.
Great, thank you so much.
Yep.
Maria, I would like to ask you the same question. Certificates, do students receive any after completing your pathway?
Yes, so in advanced culinary, they all have to earn their e-food handlers cards in order to participate in the catering and really the function of the classroom. So they earn their e-food handlers cards, and then a lot of the students utilize those immediately because, you know, many of our first jobs are working in food service. So whether they're hostessing or even the snack shack at the Huntington Beach complex, they all require food handlers cards. And so they find it really useful immediately. And that's a great thing too. We're excited that they're earning them and using them right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my first restaurant job having to figure out how to get one of those.
Yeah,
so sure
I remember my first job, we didn't have to have those. So now I think it's the best thing in the world. And so, I offer like an exam to the lower level classes, which it mirrors very much so just to get them ready for that. Because again, we're using industry standard equipment. We want everything to be sanitized and washed and kept exactly as needed.
Great, well, thank you so much. Adam, certificates, any after completing your course?
So with the Ford modules, like I said earlier, they are able to get a Ford certificate. So as the Auto 1s are able to get all their certificates, and they go Auto 2, they get more certificates. Hopefully they make like basically a big binder of all the certificates that kind of show their knowledge level. At the classroom level, we don't have any certificates, but we do have the Ford ones. So I guess dealer is about as good as we can get.
Cool, great, thank you. And Leah.
Sorry, I muted myself there. I forgot.
You're good.
In both fashion and interior design, there's really not anything that our state offers for certificates for both of those different pathways. But they do encourage you to go on to at least a 2-year school to do a 2-year certificate of sorts. From generally, like Orange Coast College is one of the best programs for both fashion and interior design around here. There's 4-year schools. There's other schools that have it. Those are just kind of close to us, but highly recommended. But there's nothing that you need in either industry to kind of prove those things.
Okay, great. Well, do you guys help identify any volunteer opportunities or internships for students in your classes?
Absolutely. Anytime we have speakers, we're always asking them like, what's available, who could they contact, where could they go? And some of my students in the past have found somebody with like a local smaller shop of interior design or fashion and kind of just ask, hey, do you need help? And generally, people are always willing for either free help or beginner help just to take care of some of those pesky little ideas or things that need to be done. But yeah.
100%. It never hurts to ask.
Right.
Actually, I'm going to jump on what Leah said. Not only that, but we also get a lot of people contacting us at school, asking us, do we have qualified kids or students? And then in addition to that, I get a lot of email or phone calls saying like, we're used as references, because if they're going to be in our classrooms, they're going to be earning these certificates or working in this and having this knowledge, they want to know like, what's their work ethic? You know, do they arrive to class? Do they not show up after school for a catering event? You know, how well do they actually perform? So it works kind of in a couple ways.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when they move on, I'm sure other jobs, they're able to put you guys as references even after they leave your class. So that's awesome too. Love that. Greg, for your class, do you help students identify for volunteer opportunities or internships?
Absolutely. We've got a couple of different professional groups that work with us and come in and mentor, especially for some of our competitions that we get involved in, like the one that's making noise in the background right now for UCI. In such, we wind up making connections with people who own small companies who can often use interns. And we typically are looking at those in a pretty rare case, but mostly with our seniors. Fortunately, our juniors do wind up doing very well and competing and getting the spots for the internships at Boeing. We kind of prepare them well for those internships. They are a little more difficult to acquire. But when it comes to volunteer opportunities, we've got a few different things that have been offered to us through Skills USA, where we've got trips that we can bring kids on that they can volunteer to actually assist with community projects. And in different ways, we try to reach out. We don't necessarily, for great fortune, I don't have to create these volunteer opportunities. They kind of just fall into our laps. And when they come, we jump on them.
Awesome.
Yep.
Love that. All right. We will move on to our next question. I will head over to Adam. Let's see. What 3 skills do you prepare students with before attending college? Adam, can you hear me?
Yeah, so I got a parent trying to find the gym. So
no worries.
Give me a second, sorry.
No worries. Let's go to Leah. Yeah, what 3 skills do you help prepare students with before college?
Well, I would say some technical skills with different technology that's used in the industry, Adobe, SketchUp, how to create an Excel spreadsheet and do different things with that. Those are probably some of the basic ones that I use in my classes. So I would say the technical skills. I would say creative thinking is more of a soft skill, but it's one that's very important. I'm forever saying you think outside the box. All of you get this one assignment, but you're all going to come up with something that is creative and different than everybody else. So what is that going to be? How are you going to stand out from the rest? What's going to make you, totally do something different? And then I would say, I'm a stickler on being on time, turning assignments in on time, like all those things. Those are important. Those are skills that, again, soft skills, all those soft skills are things we talk about almost every single day. What's really important with getting a job, keeping a job, you can have all the education in the world sometimes that doesn't always relate to a great worker bee, right? So having some of those soft skills, I think, are very crucial. And I really talk about those a lot and how what they're doing in school is going to help them with a job later in life.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. And I see we have a new panelist that has joined us. Matt, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
We'll throw you right into the mix. But before we do, will you just please introduce yourself, your title, and your CTE pathway that you teach?
I'm Matt Wilford, Marina High School, and my pathway is hot metals. And then I also have a transportation pathway as well.
Got it. Thank you so much. I'm just going to jump into the question that we're on right now for you. In your pathway, what 3 skills do you prepare students with before attending college?
I think, at least for me, one of the more important one is safety in the industry. it's super important, and a lot of employers aren't prepared to train their folks for safety. So I make sure all my students are real comfortable with safety and the equipment involved, and then ask them to be creative and make decisions for themselves about what to be afraid of or what might injure them,
Right.
rather than going off of the book or their employer helping them to know that.
Mhm.
I think that's real important. And the other one is being prompt. Again, soft skill, super important. But being prompt is, at least for me, is super important to make sure that our employees know we're serious about our work. That would be probably number two. As number three, sort of difficult again, ends up being problem solving. I give the students an assignment and then ask them to use the materials that are available to them to complete the assignment.
Mhm.
And I think it's important that the students have the ability to solve problems like that. And also they enjoy that a lot. They get an opportunity to stretch their mind and be a little creative and show me what they can do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Adam, we'll come back to you. We're happy to have you back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, people around, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Fun meeting new people. So the
Same
three
question.
skills.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. You're about to answer. Go ahead.
So the three skills you'll get out of my class, I would agree with Mr. Wolford. Safety is number one. If you can't go to the workplace and work safely, you're not going to keep a job or keep healthy. So it's definitely super important. The second one's probably communication. That's also with the campiness in my class. Everyone has to kind of learn how to get along with others, which isn't easy, as we all know. But my kids learn to work in teams and learn to work with each other and deal when they don't agree with each other. So that's definitely an important one. And the third one is organization. The biggest thing I think my students need to have is like daily planners, which we don't have anymore, but I think we want to bring those back. Everyone's gone digital. But the students have to be able to read a calendar, be on time, actually be an employee, right? Be on time, make plans for things. So our biggest plan is to get you ready for life after high school with those types of skills.
Great. Thank you. And Greg?
It's funny you asked that question because today we had a discussion about pi, the number. And in both the engineering program and the woodworking program, there's a great deal of math skills that we work on. And so when you really think about what do we work on to prepare students that are going off to college, we're really trying to show the integration of specific math functions and how it applies in different applications. A bridge builder needs very similar math skills as does a culinary specialist. And those same math skills will apply to somebody who is putting a roof on a house, and those same math skills will apply to somebody who is doing your taxes. So we focus heavily on teaching math skills, and not a drill and kill, but a real life opportunity for you to see where the math applies. Teaching about things like shapes, like triangulation, and why the triangle is the strongest shape on earth. You know, I mean, things along those lines. I mean, it's literally when you say, how do you prepare a student for college? We're preparing them to see that they're not here just for the academics, that there is a side that ties the academics to real careers.
For sure.
You know, beyond that, I think I'd second both Adam and Matt referring to the safety procedures that we go through, and so that we are preparing students not necessarily just for specific training, but to learn how to make good decisions to keep themselves safe. To analyze the situation and be able to assess whether or not they can complete a task that they've been charged with. So working as a shop technician, let's say, puts them ready, let's say, for lab type classes in college, where they're going to be given that opportunity and responsibility, managing their workspace, managing the relationships with others, and doing so efficaciously.
Great. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I noticed in the chat, since Matt, we did have you just come on, can you please explain what Hot Metals is and some of the courses that you teach?
For sure. Again, I apologize for being late. That was
No worries.
my deal. I got distracted. Hot Metals essentially is welding. We nickname it hot metals, and in the past we had other skills besides just strictly welding. But right now, primarily what I do is called structural welding, talking about preparing students to use an arc welder They obviously will get other skills and other types of welding. An example would be MIG, but most of my students arc weld, and most of it is toward a certification. There's the C1, C2, and C3 certification, and my students today watched a video on the C1 certification, which I would expect they could pass right now. So I'm teaching essentially structural welding, but along the way, as I heard already, quite a bit of mathematics, an absolute ton of safety, and then some blueprint reading and understanding of symbols in blueprints of structures that are to be built. Quite a bit of that. I also teach quite a bit of metallurgy, so students can understand how a different welding rod or a different process is used, whether we're welding vertically, horizontally, or flat on a table. That's about it.
All right, great, thank you. And just for the sake of the parents and students, are there any certificates or volunteer opportunities, internships that you're able to help students identify with for when they're done with your class?
Primarily, I'm going to send students either to the union. I have a good contact at the welding union, and they have positions available now for my students. Those positions would involve working 3 weeks and then schooling for 1 week, and then working for 3 weeks and schooling for 3 weeks. And the students are paid for their schooling time, which is really, really neat. So they have a good job and a good source of income while they're learning. My other students will be going to OCC. Orange Coast College has a certification program there. Obviously the courses cost, but for those of you, or those of my students who have a little money to spend on their schooling, Orange Coast College has an outstanding program. And again, you find the union folks, they're hiring people directly out of the class.
Awesome, thank you so much, Matt. And if you, I do see that you're getting a few questions in the chat. Feel free, you're able to type and respond to those. And I will.
If it's okay with you, I'll real quickly answer because I read it as it came up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The other pathway I have is transportation. In the past, it was called auto. I teach it as transportation. So I'm covering not only gas cars, but electric, aircraft, train, any kind of transportation we can come up with. And we spend quite a bit of time talking about the future of transportation, whether it be electric, solar, hydrogen. I do quite a bit of that, and also talk quite a bit about how to better our environment using those cars, you know, how to make better decisions about how we waste gas and how much gas we waste along the way. A lot of that.
Great, thank you so much. And we are on to our final question that I do want to, sorry, Marilyn.
Could we answer, Mr. Wilford has another question about certification. Can they get it in the classroom, or do they need to go to community college?
And I assume that reference is toward hot metals. I cannot certify in the classroom, only because I can't do that certification work. But I can send students directly to certification, or send them to Orange Coast or the union, and in both cases they'll be trained and then immediately certified. Most of my students, because of their skill, they're entering a classroom where nobody's welded before, and my students have often 9 months of welding, so their skills are real strong, and very often they'll start with a basic course and immediately make contact with the teacher, and he knows me, and he'll grab them and just bump them right up the hill because they have some of those entry skills ready to go. I can't certify in auto either. The certification in auto is going to be ASE. That's Automotive Service Excellence Certificate. My students are prepared for that, and I use that as part of my standards to teach to, but I cannot certify in the classroom myself.
And just a reminder for the parents and students, what school do you teach at?
I'm at Marina High School.
Marina High School. Okay, thank you. I saw one. That was a question in there. All right, and we are on to our final question, which I do want to hear from everybody. So I will start with Adam. What advice do you have for students who are interested in enrolling in CTE, but just don't know which program would be best for them?
Well, thank you for that. First off, they have to pass all their classes. We are electives, and if you don't pass your classes, you don't get elected. So first you got to pass them all. But to be honest, I mean, it's kind of where your mind will take you. So I would suggest go talk to the teacher, perhaps, like stop by a class while it's going on. and say to yourself, do I see myself doing this? So maybe stand, if the teacher allows you, like check out a culinary class, check out a photo class, it's kind of see your electives, if you will. Something will speak to you for whatever reason, give it a try. All you can do is something new, and whatever happens, happens. You like it, cool. And if not, try something else. One thing I do want to try maybe the next couple of years is having like a program where we take all our CT electives on a site and divide up in like maybe quarters. So you get a piece of photo, a piece of everything. So that way you make maybe a more informed decision their sophomore year and say, okay, cool, I'm going to join this pathway because I got a piece of something I enjoy. But beyond that, yeah, just follow your hearts and your dreams. You'll be fine.
Awesome. Thank you. Leah, advice for students, or once they're already in your class, how to just be successful?
Well, if you have a passion for anything, you just will be successful. If you enjoy what you're doing, it's all going to come easy. You're going to learn it better. You're going to understand it better. You're going to enjoy it. So for the younger kids who may not know which pathway do they want to go into, I would say try as much as you can. Take the classes that you think might be of interest, because it's much better to try it in high school and know if you're going to like it or not before you go on to college and then find out you paid a lot of money to not enjoy something. Talk with your friends' older siblings. Did they take the class? Did they enjoy? What did they do? What kind of lessons did they learn, or what did they walk away with it having? So I always want to just say, go for it, right? Don't wait. I find so many times seniors, get to their senior year and they're like, oh gosh, I didn't know we had that pathway. Well, ask questions, talk to your friends, reach out. And I think you'll find that there's something for everyone, right? Everybody's going to find their different interests. So if you even have a little taste of something that you think might be interested in, just go for it, try it. And, if it doesn't work out, so be it. You learned a new skill anyway. But go for it.
Awesome.
Can't hurt.
Thank you. And Greg, I'd like to hear from you.
So I think Adam and Leah have already hit probably the most important part. The greatest advice that I could give is put your phone down and just get your hands dirty. I think the reality is that today we have a tendency to have a perception of what something is going to be like. Students come in and they say, well, geez, I really didn't know that that's what you were going to do in this class. And I say, my response to them is typically, we do more things in this class that are not defined. It can't be seen on YouTube. It can't be found in an old magazine. And you might listen to somebody telling a fib or telling a tall tale someplace else. It's not necessarily what's happening here. You just got to come in and do it. It doesn't matter what your passion is. Leah is right. You will be successful if you are passionate about what you do. And if you don't have a passion, you need to do something. You need to act, because guidance doesn't suddenly get bestowed upon us from above. We're not just suddenly going to have a light turn on and say, oh, okay, today I'm going to be a dental hygienist. I'm absolutely sure of it. That's what I'm going to do. It's not going to happen that way. So just come to the realization that trying new things, trying things that you've never heard of might be worth it. And in high school, you can't beat that time. Everyone's in a rush, and I know what it was like. I too was the type of student that wanted to be out at lunch if I could be out at lunch. And yet, what are you doing when you get home? How are you spending the time? When you look back on it, will you say, yeah, I spent my time really well? Or will you look back and say, yeah, I could have done more? Well, life only goes around once. We get one ticket to punch, and we got to jump on board. So get involved, get started. Do what you could do to find that passion.
Oh, Greg, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Matt, any last words from you?
Yeah, very quickly to answer. Someone came through on chat real quick and I spotted them. Every course, I think, that we all teach, there's absolutely no reason why you can't take an intro course and then change your mind. Never a problem. In my department, you can take your first and second year and then change your mind, or you can take your first and second year and add a welding course. So you've got Auto 1, and then the following year is Auto 2, plus you picked up Welding 1. So that's always available, and again, in all of our classes. For me, really, really important is rapport. My rapport with my students is super important to me. And so I always recommend to people, if you're interested in a program, go shake the guy's hand, go meet that teacher and figure out whether, is this someone you're going to learn well from? All of us who teach hands-on skills or recognize the fact that not everybody is super strong academically. And I find the students who come and see me and they're having difficulty academically very often are very, very strong working with their hands and take a lot of pride in that. So I'm a big pusher of that rapport and continuing with the program. I've got folks in their 3rd year of auto who are just amazing.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you. And Maria.
So I have a couple of things. I know I didn't talk on the last question, but
oh yeah, go ahead and share.
Yeah, so I have a few things in my classroom that I do. First of all, I think that passion is something that I show my students. And I know you guys talked about the 3 things that you I was always like thinking about those, but besides skills and sanitation and safety and all these great things that we obviously do, but passion. So I'm like really passionate about foods and have been just raised around that. And so if anything, I always feel like I show them like a really big passion for it. And I have this little slogan that I use that says food is life. And I just tell them all, when they ask, they'll come by a lot and they'll say like, what do you think? Should I take foods? I think I like foods. I watch a lot of tasty video. They have like, the same thing every time. I'm like,
Top Chef.
Yeah, I'm like food life. So you can either come join this class, figure out you adore it and you want to go into the food industry and go get a certificate and we do all that, or you come out of it saying I can actually host a dinner party or feed my friends. And so it's just a skill and it's something to put in your pocket. So I love CTE, and I just feel like, listening to everyone's programs, I'm literally like, I wish I could go take that. I want to do that. Like, it's a skill. It doesn't mean you're going to love it and make it your job, or maybe you will. So that's what I tell my students, or any student that comes by to talk to me. I think that all kids should be able to take a little bit of CTE. It's just life,
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much. Okay, well, we are pretty much done. Thank you guys so much for being here and talking to the parents and the students. Parents and students, thank you so much for joining in and listening and asking all your questions. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to get to yours through the video, but hopefully some of them were able to be answered in the chat room. And before everyone logs off, I do want to share the community that you will all get the link to and access code. So here you'll be able to get a little bit of a rundown from the CTE contact, and then I have tabs in here for all the high schools and some of their programs, and you click into them, you'll be able to see maybe if they have any videos, an overview, links, attachments that you want to read up on. Every high school is on here, so feel free to take a look around, explore them all. Most of them do have a contact information for you. And yeah, so you guys will get all of that shortly. I'll be sending that out after this panel is over. And be sure to follow VitalLink on social media to stay up to date with any competitions going on. More panels like this. We'd love to have you guys keep learning about CTE and everything it's able to offer you guys. So thank you all so much, and I hope everyone has a really great night. Yes, thank you, panelists.